meet the expectation of the wonderful two speakers which we have already spoken to. I am feeling a little nervous whether I would be in a position to discharge that challenge. The faculty members of this university, my dear friends, I will give you a little brief of the structure of my presentation, and Dr. Missy will help. I am happy that I have the opportunity to talk to the IP students. I was longing very strongly that I need to get audience before whom I raise certain questions which are unconventional in IPR studies, just to arouse anxieties on the one side and a confidence to challenge the existing regimes of IPR for the reasons which I am going to display. I think knowledge being a serious and important economic resource, let us locate the different the sectors of economic resources and find out where knowledge also stands as a very important economic resource. I think all of you will agree that these are the important economic resources. And life, you can't conceive life independent of economic resources. The quality of life and the existence of life is inconceivable independent of economic resources. And the IB students or the teachers, they are more concerned with the knowledge as the economic resource. So let us try to find out the various kinds of before I go to that, the functions of the IPR. I take first, and maybe I go to the different knowledge products as a resources. Yes. So these 2 points I want to make just in the beginning to settle the structure and the function of different economic systems with reference to dealing with the knowledge as the economic resource. To my understanding, the function of the capitalist economic system with reference to knowledge as an economic resource is to privatize and protect it for profit making. And the function of a socialist society is entirely different. It is to commodify, protect and socialize it for the social purposes. So we have to understand the basic difference between the functions of IPR law in different contexts of the economic systems. If we take cognizance of these functions, the huge debate you will find time and again being raised in WTO by US against China can be understood because of the different objectives of IPRs. Now, having said that, let us look into the various IPR products. We have patents in traditional, in conventional understanding, the laws protects private commercially viable knowledge or corporate created commercially viable knowledge. If you do the survey of TRIPS, I have done the survey of TRIPS and the Indian IPR regime. I believe the same may be the position in Taiwan. The second category which you find, the highly scientific, commercially viable public products or public intellectual property products which are in the form of biodiversity and the traditional knowledge, do not find protection in IPR. You look into, I'll come in with those slides later on TRIPS and the regime. There is a protection for private and corporate generated commercially viable knowledge, but no protection for the community generated highly scientific, useful, having huge potential to create capital and money. It's not protected by the legal regime. Then we come to the second kind of eye care product, which is creative, commercial, entertainment knowledge, copyright maybe. You'll find protection for private and corporate created commercially viable creative products. But again, if you go to the second slide, we'll find that there is no protection for the highly entertaining, huge intellectual property invested knowledge in the form of folklore, which is created by the society. There's no protection. Now you have 2-3 more products which are not of serious concern, but just to mention them here. The point which I want to make now, and I beg with the special intention of IT students, there is a whole design in IPR legislation in the context of capitalist economic system to protect the individual and corporate commercially viable knowledge of these two categories, but there is no effort. Rather, there is an opposition. There is opposition to protect the commercially viable both categories of knowledge of the society, of the communities, which has a huge market, and that market is being exploited. Having said that, now let us have a little survey of the IPR regimes. Let us look into the international regimes. You have TRIPS one regime, you have CBD another. In TRIPS, the relevant provision you have under Article 27. If you examine that this provision, you find there is a protection for private and corporate commercially viable knowledge in the form of patents. No protection at all for traditional knowledge. But at the same time, if you find another international convention on biodiversity, which is signed by countries more than the TRIPS are signed, you find a regime duly recognizing the rights of the communities in biodiversity and traditional knowledge, and offering essential structures, legal structures, required to be followed in the national regimes for the benefit sharing, whosoever shall be exploiting these commercially viable knowledge. Now we locate that there is a conflict between these two international regimes, legal regimes. TRIPS, not equity-centered, highly lopsided against societies. CBD, taking care of both interests, private as well as the public interests. So the debate is going on in WTO party conference for the last many years, and I have instruction from my Honorable Vice Chancellor not to emotionally emphasize who is blocking. So therefore I will not name the countries, but there had been a country in the West countries. Now it remains only one country who is blocking the marriage between the TRIPS and CBD, and seeking the large number of countries seeking amendment of TRIPS Article 27 to incorporate duly agreed CBD provisions, which provide provisions for the sharing of the benefits of the traditional knowledge if any individual corporation seeks a patent based on the traditional knowledge. Now coming to the national regime.